Yo, what's good, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry Sisters review. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, then you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell somebody to tell somebody if you choose to, but if not, just sit back, relax while we get into this thing. I don't necessarily know if it's messy. It could be, but I'm going to let y'all be the judge of that. Just to let you guys know, anytime that you see sister talk in my thumbnail, that means that I am responding to or answering something that I received via DM or email. And this particular question came from a young lady by the name of Janari, and I absolutely love that name. I think it's so pretty. She wanted me to do two videos. One, I'm going to have a problem with because baby girl asked me, can you do a video outlining your top 10 favorite moments of season 7 part A? And I said, sis, you asking me to move heaven and earth because I don't know if there was actually 10 moments that I enjoyed. And I'm just being real with you. I'm going to try though. I'm going to try. But we just going to see because I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn out. But this particular video, we're talking about Sabrina. And her question to me was, do you think it's fair for people to expect Sabrina to stand up for Karen at the mocktail event? It is not in her nature to be combative. I would love to hear your thoughts. I will say this about that particular situation. I did not expect Sabrina to do anything less than be a friend. And everybody may have their own definition or their own opinions about what a friend should be, how a friend should act or conduct themselves. But I am the type of friend who would not allow anybody to disrespect a friend in my presence. I am also the type of person who will check someone. And when I say check someone, I don't mean to disrespect them. However, I'm one of those people that will, what you said? I'm that person. Like, say that again. Because I want to make sure whatever needs to be said, it needs to be said. However, we could do it in a respectful manner. And the thing about this whole situation with this mocktail event is that it was Sabrina's event. And it was a mocktail event, which means there was supposed to be no liquor, no alcohol. It was just supposed to be her and her girls enjoying this moment, you know, her celebrating, her proceeding with getting her eggs frozen so that she can have, you know, children in the future. That's what it was about. The underlying component of this thing was it was about celebrating Sabrina. And of course, Karen fit into that because she's pregnant and she's not able to drink as well. So in the beginning of everything, this event was not intended for Fatima. It was intended for the sister circle, which includes Sabrina, Danny, Andy, and Karen. That's who it was supposed to be for. Now, off rip, when Fatima walked into the door and Sabrina saw her, if it were me, instantly, I would have greeted Fatima. Hey, girl, how you doing? It's good to see you. How'd you know we were, like, who invited you? The moment that she said Danny, I'm going to put it in my memory like, okay, me and Danny have to have a conversation because we already know that there is some tension between Fatima and Karen, and I don't want this at my event. I wouldn't have made a scene. However, I would have kindly told Fatima, I do appreciate you, you know, for coming out. However, this is only for me and my sisters. I apologize for the misunderstanding or the inconvenience. And that would have been my take on it. But since Sabrina didn't do that, damn it, you get what you get. And she got what she got. And what I mean by she got what she got, what was supposed to be a beautiful moment turned into something that it really didn't need to be. Now, my perspective on Sabrina is that there are times that we have witnessed Sabrina being combative or Sabrina just standing up for what she believes is right. When it comes to Sabrina and Maurice, Sabrina always takes up for him. She always has his back, whether Maurice is in her presence or not. She always makes it known that she's not going to allow anybody to disrespect her friend. We have seen Sabrina stand up to two men. One she got with physically, which was Alonzo, for what he did to Maurice. She also got with Bio verbally when she thought that he was making insults about Maurice's sexuality. So we have seen Sabrina truly conduct herself in a protective manner when she feels that anybody is trying to disrespect Maurice. And so the way I look at it is, as a friend, why don't you have that same energy when it comes to Karen, if that's your sister, if that's your friend, if that's your girl? And Sabrina, in the sister circle, she's one of those people, and don't get me wrong, I have had a friend like Sabrina, keyword had, because at some time you have to pick a side. You cannot go through life straddling the fence. And that's the vibe I get from Sabrina, because it seems as if she doesn't want to make anyone upset or mad. And when I say pick a side, I'm not referring to her choosing one friend over the other. What I'm stating is Sabrina has to stand on what's right. She has to stand on the truth. Even if it makes somebody upset, whether it's Karen, Andy, or Danny, speak up. Say something. And there is a quote by Martin Luther King Jr. that I know I have adapted since I was in the 8th grade. And it's a quote that states, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. And that is something that has stuck with me throughout childhood, going into my teenage years, into my early adult life, is that if a friend can be silent in the moment that you need them to stand up, they are not your friends. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's nature is to be combative or to be confrontational, because everyone is not like that. However, you decide if those are the type of people that you want in your circle. For me, people who choose to, be passive, and you could be an acquaintance. You can't be my friend, because I don't trust you enough that when I'm not in your presence, that you will have my back and that you will stand up for me. And so that's the vibe that I get from Sabrina. Even though she's nice and bubbly, you know what I'm saying? She had no issue with saying, y'all not going to talk to my man like that, when Rich came over and they shooed him away. So she didn't have a problem saying what she had to say at that time. But yet, when Fatima said that slick mess under her breath, she didn't say nothing. And you sitting right next to the chick. How do you let that slide? And it's like, am I supposed to believe as a viewer that Sabrina is scared of Fatima? Why is she acting timid in her presence? Why do she take the route of, I'm not going to say anything? I don't expect Annie to say anything. I damn sure don't expect Danny to say anything, because she's in cahoots with Fatima when it comes to these children and the paternity and saying little slick stuff, because she was saying slick things the entire time. So I'm not expecting them. But my thing is, Sabrina, it's like you're the only lifeline that Karen has when it comes to this sister circle, and yet you failed, in my personal opinion. She failed big time. I would not want to be friends with any of them at all. I think the interesting thing also when it comes to Sabrina is that she sat there and said, so no one is going to go after Karen. Because my thing is, Fatima shouldn't have been there. And I get it. This is the thing that get me, though. I don't get it. Let me take that back. Let me retract that from my statement. I'm trying to understand, when did doing someone a favor equate to them being your friend? Because I have seen so many comments across the social media world when it comes to sisters about how Fatima has been there for all the girls. She's their friend. She's more of a friend to them than Karen has ever been. I'm like, is it crack or heroin? Which one is it? Is it weed laced with coke? I'm trying to understand which one it is, because what? Fatima did favors for these women. I'm like, people are acting as if Fatima moved mountains for these women. When it comes to Danny, all Fatima did was call around, make some calls to find out that Jonah wasn't in the hospital and he was released from jail or whatever it was. I can't remember specifically, but it was something like that. For Sabrina, I believe that's when Madam came into the picture and she was able to speak to a judge or something like that. And the only thing is, Andy owes Madam a favor. I'm like, so what is this big grand scheme thing that Fatima did that these women are so indebted to her? That she's their best friend now, that she has been a better friend to them. She did a favor. She literally did a favor. So I am not understanding how she is such a great friend to these women. Now, she may be a good friend to Andy. You know what I'm saying? But at the end, I look at Andy sideways too, because you only use Fatima to be your damn muscle. Other than that, you have no need for her. Other than when you want to get in her business. But you don't have no need for Fatima. Andy is not Fatima's friend at all. She uses her. Basically. That's what she does. She uses her. And I'm going to leave it at that. But I just find it so interesting to answer your question, Janari. I feel like it is fair. It is fair to expect Sabrina to stand up in the moments that she should. I believe it is fair to expect Sabrina to act like a friend. Because whether people, and I know this doesn't apply to you, but whether people like Karen or not, whether she is their least favorite character or not, or however they may feel about her, if the roles were reversed, I believe we all know that Karen would have their back, period. It would be no hesitation on her end. If she was at Andy's house and Jasmine walked her happy ass in there, how do you think she would respond? Karen would go off, pregnant and all. Who the hell are you? You better get out my friend house. We know that. Like, we clearly know that she would respond in that way. And so I just feel like at this point, Karen just better stick with Pam and ride it on out, because that's really all she has. And it definitely can be the inconsistency in the writing, because based on what I have seen of Sabrina, when it comes to her friends, when it comes to her having that attitude of I got their backs, but when she's in Fatima's presence, she cowers to her. That's not the Sabrina that I know. I was very, as a viewer, just disappointed when Fatima walked into Karen's house and I saw how the women responded. I was honestly, I was surprised that Andy even said something. She was like, Fatima, this is Karen's home. Like, I mean, that's all the heifer said, but I was surprised that she even said that much. And I'm like, I'm looking at Sabrina, who didn't say much at all. Danny even made light of it. Like, she was making a joke. She was being humorous or trying to be funny in the moment. And I'm just like, at that moment, that's when I started looking at Sabrina sideways. Because I'm like, how y'all not going off on this woman? How y'all not telling her to get the hell out? Fatima, I don't know what the deal is, but nah, this ain't flying. Says something. That was one of the most unbelievable scenes to me, because I just knew, if nobody else, I just knew Sabrina was going to have Karen's back in the way that I believe Karen would have had hers. And it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen at all. And I think Sabrina's nature, she is passive and she does let a lot of things fly, even when it comes to Karen, because when they went to the house, now this is my thing now. If I'm inviting a pregnant woman to my house for food, have some damn food. I don't need no cheese, no crackers, no grapes on this board. Baby, you better have some nourishment. You hear me? So the fact that Karen and them wanted wings, I get it. But even seeing Sabrina's facial expression when Karen was like, we're going to put this on your card, she didn't like that, but she didn't say anything either. And it wasn't just Karen. They all ordered food. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, say something. You being this way, it doesn't make things better. And even when Karen, told her at the mocktail, like, why do you always do that? Like, why you try to make everything right? Like, she tries to say certain things to make it right. And you cannot pile sugar, excuse my language, on it and expect somebody to be able to digest it. No, Sabrina, rip that Band-Aid off and just say what it is. Whether they get mad at you, they just get mad at you, but at least you're standing for something. And it really go back to that saying where if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And Sabrina's lack, let me say this. I'm not going to say it's lack. Sabrina's refusal. Because I was going to say Sabrina's inability, but it's not an inability. It's a refusal. Sabrina refuses to stand on business. And by the looks of it, she can only stand on business when it has something to do with Maurice. And I have a problem with that. I understand that he's her friend, but you got 3 women over here who been your sisters for almost 20 years, and you don't have that same energy. So for me, yeah, I got a problem with that. But we gonna see what they have in store for us, Jesus, on the second half of Sisters. And I really am interested in seeing how Karen and Sabrina's dynamic is, because I honestly have always enjoyed them. They don't have many scenes where they are by themselves or scenes when it's just them having intimate conversations. But when we do have those scenes, they have always been soft and they have always been meaningful and intentional. So I am interested in seeing how that dynamic is. But like I said earlier, I don't want you to be my friend and be protective of me and being compassionate to me in private, but you can't do that when there is opposition. Because if you only could be my friend when it's easy, I don't want you to be my friend. But I do thank you for that question, Janari. And I hope that, my thoughts on the matter, what I'm saying, just gave you some insight on how I feel about Sabrina, how I feel about Sabrina's dynamic with Karen, how I feel about Sabrina's silence when it came to listening to somebody say something about your friend that was offensive, period. And this is your event. I'm even interested in Sabrina's thought process of Danny putting liquor in her smoothie, as well as Fatima. This was your event that was supposed to be alcohol free, liquor free. And then you got your friend over here pouring it up. You know what I'm saying? Like she at the damn club. And Fatima, your girl hit me off too. How you could tell that Sabrina felt a way about that, but she didn't say anything. So we gonna see. I'm just, I don't have any expectations of this show, just to be honest, but it would be nice to see Sabrina speak her mind in a way where she's not trying to protect other people's feelings with the people who she loved the most. I would really love to see that, however it pans out. But those are my thoughts. So I want to thank you for sending this in, and thank you guys for listening. Until next time, I will holler at y'all later, and y'all be safe out there. One.